In this video, we're going to be taking apart an iPhone 14 Plus for a screen disassembly. So to start with, we're going to kind of show you a few items you're going to need. I am wearing gloves for this repair so that I don't run the risk of touching anything I shouldn't. Helps me be grounded and make sure none of my oils or skin gets inside of the device. I also am going to make sure that I am grounded using my ESD wrist strap. I like to put it on my non-dominant hand so that I don't run the risk of anything happening. You're going to need a couple of different tools for this. I do have my Phillips tri-wing and pentalobe screwdrivers here ready to go. I have my thin curved pry tool as well as a spudger to be able to open and disconnect different items within my device. I have my Wolf K100. This helps me to open this up with some suction. I also have my heat resistant plate or heat mat to be able to open this device up with some heat. So we're going to go ahead and start by removing our pentalobe screws. There's two at the bottom, 1 and 2. So let's go ahead and remove those and place them on your layout. Okay. Once that is done, now we can actually heat our device. Now we're going to be heating the back of the device instead of the front for starters. This is because the back of the device is where we need to actually enter to disconnect our battery. So right here, I'm just going to lay this back down. Let's go ahead and power this off. I have my blue heat mat set to 65 degrees Celsius. And I'm going to allow this to sit here for a full 10 minutes to get the back nice and warm. So go ahead and pause this video, get your heat mat or hot plate out to heat up your device, and we'll go ahead and open this up together momentarily. All right, so now that it's been about 10 minutes and my device is nice and warm, we're going to go ahead and begin the opening process. So what I have here is my Wolf K100. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and loosen up these suction cups. Slide in my device. Try to get it past all this. Suction down. If we can get this to fit. All right. Close down my suction cups. Like so. Grab my piece right here. Perfect. And now we'll start cranking some. Tighten this up. Just twisting this crank, trying to start lifting. Okay, looks like we're starting to get a little bit of lifting going on right here. I'm just going to take my thin curved pry tool and insert in the seam like so. Switch over to my spudger to kind of come along it. Okay, there we go. Severing all the adhesive around. Coming this way. You can use a little bit of alcohol if necessary, but this seems to be coming up pretty good with just a little bit of heat. Come back this way. Okay, looks like we did crack it right there. Let's go ahead and release and try to get this frame out. Now this back glass should lift up, and you're going to go away from the cameras with it. So I'm just going to make sure I've got all of this severed. There we go. Starting to get to lift. We can then take this and we can pull it towards the right. So turning away from the cameras. And this is how we can get access to disconnect our battery. So I'm going to go ahead and take my thumbs device right here and prop this up. Our battery is going to be connected right underneath this shield plate. So that will go on our layout and we can remove both of these screws. Okay, remove that shield. Once the shield is gone, I'm going to take my spudger right here and disconnect my battery. Battery is disconnected, and we're going to go ahead and discharge. So I'm going to take my power button and I'm going to hold it down for 15 seconds or 15 Mississippi. This will drain any residual electricity from my motherboard so that as I'm disconnecting and reconnecting different items, I don't run the risk of something being short-circuited on that repair. Okay, next up, we're going to go ahead and try to remove this. We have a small piece right here. We'll get this taken care of, add it to our layout. Okay, go ahead and grab the spudger and disconnect. Once that's disconnected, we'll go ahead and move on to the front. So right here, what we're going to need to do is heat up our front so that we can go back into this. Now this has opened back up, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and get this turned off. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and expose it to heat once again, same 65 degrees Celsius and same 10 minutes. All right, now that our screen is nice and warm, we're going to go ahead and begin the opening process for it. I'm going to grab my thin curved pry tool once again, and we're going to enter it from the bottom. So where the charge port is located, that's where I'm going to start. So I'm just going to insert my thin curved pry tool, and we're going to try to get inside here. A lot of dust and debris buildup on this particular one. Okay, looks like we're going to need to grab our suction. However, this doesn't really have the suction on the bottom now, so we're just going to have to be very careful with that. And we'll come right here. Let's bring this guy down, and we'll see if we can crank it. Let me grab that pry tool again. There we go. Got a little bit in there. I'm going to go ahead and grab some more alcohol. All right, so I've grabbed some alcohol. I'm just going to put it down here at the base. If I can get this to stay on. Right down here along the seam. Okay, and then I'm going to take this suction cup. It's just the one. We'll place it right on here. And I'm just going to start trying to pull it up slightly. Let's just keep trying to pull. It wants to move on me. Let's move it again. Grab my thin pry tool again. Okay, starting to get in. I may need to expose it to some more heat again and just heat it for a little bit longer, because right now I'm just bending up my tool real bad. So we're going to go ahead and expose this to some more heat. We're going to go once again at that 65 degrees Celsius, and we're going to go ahead and reheat this to I would say about 10 more minutes, since it's pretty much cooled off by now. So we're just going to reheat it for that full 10 minutes. Let's get this off of here. Okay. All right, so we got it once again nice and hot. So we're going to come back at it again with our tools. Get in there. Perfect. All right, so now we are actually in this device. So I'm going to kind of bend this backwards to give me a little gap and add some alcohol to what we're doing. And I grab my spudger, switch on over to that where possible. There we go. And now we'll just kind of come down along the sides of this device. Perfect. Don't want to go any deeper than the brackets you see in there. Come around. Now I don't want to do anything at the top because I don't want to damage my Face ID. So I'm going to come around this way now. Once again, don't go any deeper than those brackets. You don't want to damage the internal components on your device. So it's a little tricky to get started with it, but once you actually start to get inside of it, you'll be able to open up fairly easily. So now we can open here, and you notice that there is a back plate going on right here. So we're not going to be able to get too much from here, but we do need to use this to disconnect our screen. So I have a couple of pieces that I need to draw out here. There's just 2 screws, 1 and 2. So let me go ahead and grab my layout once again. So right here, 1, and then this one's like a rectangle, 2. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead now and take those 2 screws out. These are tri-wing. Okay, so there's the first one, and I'll get the second one. That doesn't want to come up, so I'm just going to grab some tweezers to pick it up. Once both of those are out, you can disconnect. 1 and 2. And now your screen is removed. So I'm going to set this over here to the side. Next up, we'll need to go ahead and remove this portion here. So there are 2 screws that we will need to remove. We'll add those to our layout mat as well. So we have the top of the screen here, and we have 1, 2. Both of these are tri-wing as well, so we'll get those taken care of. Okay, remove that little shield plate. And now we'll go ahead and begin to remove this portion. So I'm just going to take a little bit of alcohol, place it on my thin pry tool here. We can go ahead and grab a plastic playing card if we need to. This will work too. I'll put some alcohol underneath, just a little bit, so we can come underneath with this. You can use a little bit of heat as well. Perfect. Coming right on up. Coming up pretty good. I'm going to take my spudger here, come underneath my microphone, ambient light, and proximity, because we do want all of these to loosen up and be free. There we go. Once both of those are out, I'm going to keep on moving and get this slide portion up. Okay, so we'll set this to the side. And then right here, you have your upper area mic, your ambient light, and your proximity sensor. And I'm going to go ahead and clean off all of this old adhesive around here. We're going to just kind of take some tweezers and some spudgers and things and try to clean up as best we can all the way around this device, because you can see this adhesive stuck all the way around here. It got a little fuzzy. So I'm hoping if we can get a good grip on one of these pieces, we'll be able to start pulling it off. There we go. A little bit. Not much. There we go. There's a good chunk coming. This is the time-consuming and tedious portion of this repair. I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of alcohol for this. You want to make sure that it is 99 to 100% alcohol so we don't damage anything else. Coming up a little bit better now. Not much, but a little bit. Much for that grounding piece. All right, let's get back up here. All up here too. All right, I think what we're going to do here is add a little bit of heat to this. So I'm just going to set it on my hot plate for just a couple of minutes. I'm going to set it to 70 degrees Celsius. And I'm going to let this sit for about 3 or 4 minutes on that hot plate to kind of loosen some of this adhesive up for me. Let me get this set. I'll set the screen over to the side, and I'm going to put this facing downwards so that it will heat the adhesive I'm trying to get off right now. So we'll let this sit, like I said, for a few minutes, and then we'll go ahead and proceed getting the rest of the adhesive off. All right, now that we have that nice and warm, we're going to go ahead and pull it from here, from the heat, and we'll go back to our cleaning process. Oh, yes. A little bit more malleable there so I can start to get some of it. I'm going to throw some more alcohol. Now, some of the spots on this frame are actually black, but we want to make sure we're getting everything up that we can, just so we can ensure a nice and secure seal and bond. Okay, looking much better. Okay, alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and change out my gloves here, just because I've got stuff all over them now, and I don't want to put that on my screen, that's for sure. So I'm going to change them out real quick. And we'll go ahead and put our new adhesive on. So when you are purchasing adhesive for your iPhone 14 Plus, you want to make sure you're paying attention to if you have the back adhesive or the front adhesive. So there's two different kinds here. So we have our front and we have our back. So we're going to be using the front on the screen. Get one of these out. All right, so we can see that the cameras line up here. So I'm going to peel slightly. And I'm going to lay this down flat into my frame here and wiggle it down slowly so I can ensure that it's going where it needs to go on the frame. Like that. Looks great. I'm going to grab a spudger again. Try not to grab one with all the stuff on it. Okay, we're just pressing this into the frame as best we can. Okay, peel that layer off. So now we're going to go ahead and grab our screen and we're going to plug these in. So first I have my prox. Perfect. Next I have my screen. There we are. Now I'm going to grab my tri-wing driver and the plates. So first I have this larger plate. We'll slip this in. grab my screw. Perfect. We'll go ahead and get the next one. Now, I did plug this in wrong, so I'm just going to switch that around. There we go. Grab this. It also has a little lip, so we want to get that little lip in there and down. Grab the screw for this one and insert that screw. There we are. So now you can go around and peel this piece up. This is just a little film protecting the adhesive. There we go. Peel that piece off, and we got all the blue film. Gonna line this up now. All set. So now we need to work on our back portion. Same setup here. Now this one wants to come off nice for us. Let's hope that keeps up. The trick is to stay close to it as you are pulling. And don't pull straight up, it will snap. You want to kind of pull at an angle. Seems like this one is much easier to come off. There we go. Perfect. Let's keep going. This one up here is really thin, so it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't want to come up as easily. Let's try some down here. Maybe we can get a grip on one of these pieces. People always want to know why we do this because it is such a lengthy, tedious process at times. You want to make sure that your adhesive is nice and secure. So if we were to use the old adhesive, it's been exposed to dust, debris, heat, alcohol. It's not going to all be there because it's back and forth between the different pieces. So it's not going to hold it as securely as it would originally. And then if we were to try to put our old adhesive on top of this, or our new adhesive on top of this old adhesive, it's not going to adhere as well because it doesn't have a nice flat clean surface to adhere to. Now it's adhering to partially used adhesive, and it's just not going to have a good hold. In addition to that, it could cause lifting because it's too much adhesive in such a small space. So those are just some reasons why we do this process, but we're almost through. We're getting there. This last little bit. All right, looks good. So now we're going to go ahead and grab our back adhesive. We'll find where it's going to line up. Oops, looks like there. So I'm going to peel and stick. Same I did before, I just peeled a little bit. I'm going ahead and lining this up all the way down. Get it all in the frame, nice and even. Peel off this layer. And now we're going to go ahead and get our back attached. So we had set our back to the side. Let me grab that. And we have two things that we need to plug in. So the first one is going to be our wireless charging pad here, as well as our microphone. So I'm going to plug that like so. And we'll go ahead and insert the covers for that. So this one goes right here, has one screw. All right, let's go ahead and line this. These little screws can be a pain sometimes. All right, screw it down. Try to get it lined up. It's not wanting to line up. There it goes. Plug in our battery. We'll grab that plate as well, right here. And there's two screws holding that down. There's one, and this will make number 2. Perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead, peel up this film. Whoop, looks like we need to press it in a little bit. Try again. If it starts coming up with the film, I just push it back down. Okay, we'll lift this to the side here. Lay this down flat. Make sure you're lining up your cameras. And there you are. So all that's left now is just to install your pentalobe screws.